I'd had to scramble to find someone willing to fly me to Norman on short notice, but I got lucky that Freya, a sort of sister-in-law like Ozara, showed up and offered to help. She'd come to the fortress to check on a new blade she'd commissioned for the upcoming war, but the armory hadn't finished it yet. While I might not adore Aidan's older brother Ruari, I found his mate more tolerable. The female shifter would also be handy for backup if things got dicey. We made good time reaching downtown, and after we passed over it, I began scanning for the councilwoman's house. The neighborhood wasn't far from the railroad tracks and a large park where I used to hunt before the Talgud took control of the area. 5 years ago, trash and debris littered the streets and yards, but they'd cleaned it up nicely. It was almost as good as before the dragons arrived. Dread rose within me when I spotted smoke rising into the air. As we flew closer, I realized it was Nadine's home burning. Flames licked the front end of the place and would overtake the whole structure soon. Had someone set it intentionally? "That's her house," I said, pointing at the inferno. Unlike Aidan, Freya couldn't respond to me telepathically. She understood what I'd said, though, and quickly flew in that direction. We landed on the lawn moments later, and I raced up the front steps. One good thing about being a slayer was fire of any kind couldn't hurt me. Using my superior strength, I kicked the front door down and gazed inside. The whole living room was burning. I might have been resistant to flames, but the thick smoke filling the air could still affect my lungs. Pulling out one of the clean rags I kept in my leg harness pouch, I soaked it with water from my canteen. Then I covered my mouth and nose before entering the structure. My gaze lifted to the conflagration licking the ceiling. Please don't let it collapse. The sound of coughing came from the hallway over to the right. I hurried in that direction, grateful my clothing couldn't burn either. The heat was almost unbearable, and my eyes watered as I squinted through the smoke. "Nadine!" I screamed. A hand touched my shoulder, and I jumped. "She is in the back room." Freya must have completed her shift and followed me into the house. She had better hearing than me. I could only assume that was how she knew where the councilwoman was located, since it couldn't have been by scent with all the smoke. "Thanks," I said, coughing and hurrying past several closed doors. The fire had spread along the hallway ceiling but hadn't quite reached the last door. I realized that opening it would feed fresh oxygen, and it might spread even quicker. We needed to work fast.